are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good.
It is so nice to see you again.
Thanks.
So tell me, we got to start with whatever the big announcements are.
Yeah?
What can you tell me?
Which one do you want first?
I don't know. You tell me.
Okay,
You
well-
can just run through them.
We have an announcement that hit about a little over 24 hours ago.
Okay.
On Fold 3,
Okay.
we have taken all 2.4 million images of Revolutionary War pensions, which previously were only indexed by the name of the pensioner, and we've run them through handwriting recognition, and they are now full text searchable. Woohoo! We think there are more than 10 million names in that collection.
So now how's somebody going to access that?
So you just go to fold3.com, click on Revolutionary War, and then just search, just like you always have on Fold 3, but now you'll find them in any pension they're mentioned in. So I did one search yesterday for one of my Rev War ancestors. His pension, of course, came up first, but then there were 12 other pensioners where he was mentioned, and a couple of them I think might be family members. So really fantastic.
Now let's talk about the subscription for Fold 3.
Yeah.
So to access those records, they're
Mhm.
going to have some subscription,
Right.
either a Fold 3. Isn't there an Ancestry?
Ancestry All Access.
All access will also get you in there.
Yep.
Okay, that's good to know. So if we're on Ancestry and we're searching for military records, is that index on Ancestry?
It is not currently. No.
Okay, so
we
have to be
literally
on,
just finished them yesterday morning over on Fold 3.
and is it going to be there eventually?
I don't know. I don't know if we have.
Okay.
I don't know if there's a plan for that or not.
Okay. All right. Any other records that are being handwriting recognitioned?
Yes. Yeah. As
Yeah?
a matter of fact, so Ancestry just recently launched full text search on the Ancestry side of the house.
Okay.
We managed to put our family and local history books through that collection,
Okay.
or through that technology, just to make them searchable. But I think, again, as of yesterday morning, we've got about 5 million images of other records that are also now being pushed through that pipeline. So much like Family Search rolled out their full text search where they started with some records,
Right.
we will probably do a similar
And
similar
what kind
thing.
of records are these again?
They're going to be probate files. They're going to,
Okay.
like anything that is name dense but was hard to index previously because it was cost prohibitive.
And it was handwriting.
Yeah.
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 God, we've come so far, right?
Right? Yeah, we actually were running some numbers, and I think I may have shared something similar with your audience previously, but Ancestry, when I started 20 years ago, we were indexing an average of about 2 million records a month because a person had to read every record.
Mm-hmm.
And then now, then we had OCR technology, and we had some kind of, like indexing assistant technology, and we
Right.
were indexing 2 to 3 million records a day. And I thought that was mind blowing. We just ran the numbers, and over the course of the last year, we've been indexing an average of 10 million records a day. Right?
OMG,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it is. Kind of mind blowing. It's almost overwhelming because
Yeah.
it feels a little bit like a deluge of information. And so really what that has done is it's created this huge opportunity, but it's created a new problem that we have to solve, which is how do we get people to the right record faster when there are now so many records available? And so we're working on improving some hint technology stuff. We're working on some AI assist, like guiding people into not just search all the records, but go look for this record next, or go look for this kind of record next.
Mhm.
And so we have like a new little ideas button that has shown up on the profile page that can give some users some of that guided assistance, because some people, new or experienced, get overwhelmed.
Beautiful. What else? You said there were several things.
Yeah, so full text search, the ideas stuff. The big thing right now, of course, is the buzz in the whole industry, which is AI. And we've got some really cool new AI features. One of my favorites is called Photo Insights.
Okay.
So I don't know how many people have pictures where they either don't know who the person is, or they kind of have an idea of who the person is, but they don't know exactly when or where the picture was taken, or like any context about it. And so with this new Photo Insights, AI will look at the picture and it will give you clues. It'll be like, oh, like based on the hairstyle or the car in the background or whatever, we think this picture was taken between 1942 and 1956.
Beautiful.
Right? And we think that based on this, that it was taken in this location. And we think, here's some context around this. You can do that with photos. You can also do that with documents. So anything that you want more context on, those photo insights are actually really kind of a cool new feature.
So we just have to remember, though, those are hints.
Of course, just
Yes,
like anything
just
else.
like anything else. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, it's so funny because people think that like records are somehow empirical, right? Like a census record must be accurate because it's a government record, and yet we know how many errors there are in census records. Everything has to be treated with that same kind of caution. You just have to compile the evidence, do a little extra research yourself, compile more evidence, and come to a conclusion. And basically, what we're trying to do is give people as much context and information that they can use to come to those conclusions as they need.
You see the wheels turning in my head.
Uh-huh.
So I'm wondering, is your AI or does your AI have any way of correlating evidence? Kind of.
Yeah, that's kind of an interesting concept, and it is something that we're kind of playing around with to
Yeah.
see. Right now, we're just trying to provide contextual information to people, contextual information on a photo or contextual information. Like one of the documents I just ran through was some discharge papers for my great-grandfather prior to World War I. So he had served in the U.S. Army Cavalry before World War I, been discharged, then re-enlisted, joined for World War I. But I don't know anything about the cavalry and what they were doing before the war started.
Mm-hmm.
And Ancestry, as I ran it through those photo insights, popped up some suggestions. Here's some context for what the U.S. cavalry was doing. So it's starting to provide me with information that gets my wheels turning about additional avenues or places I can go to do more research.
Well, we should always be thinking about, especially like military. Okay, so my ancestor was in this unit at this time. What were the movements of this unit?
Yeah.
And so we can use AI a lot. I don't know if Ancestry is doing that,
Yeah.
but any of the major AI platforms could help with that
Yeah.
context.
Yeah, so those are photo insights for anything you've uploaded to your gallery, any photo or document. We also have full document transcription on any documents you upload or documents on Ancestry now.
I think that's a forgotten jewel
It is.
because it kind of slipped in under the radar. I don't think a lot of people really realized.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people have forgot. I forgot about it for a while. Yeah, so I was super excited a couple years ago when you guys came out with that. When we had talked about, remember,
Yeah.
like 3 or 4 years
Yeah.
ago, we talked about trying to match photographs
Yep.
and faces and stuff. So
Yeah.
I know you've had some success with it.
Yeah.
I want my distant cousins to upload those photographs that I haven't been able to identify. I know which branch they came from. You know what would be a good tip, just Ancestry if you're listening,
Okay.
is to create a collection of photographers from the era.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Because a lot of those cardboard sleeves have,
Uh-huh.
the
The name of the photographer.
name of the photographer,
Sometimes the
Provo,
city,
Utah,
yeah,
or something.
yeah.
Yeah. And so if we could get a collection, I don't know, maybe there's some volunteers out there that might help put that together, but a collection of some history about those people, and we could get that on Ancestry so that we could start matching those
Yeah, interesting.
those cardboard sleeves that have, John Anderson photography and the place,
Yeah.
And then, what would be really cool is if we could get up with the local historical society or whoever might have those records.
Right?
If those records survive, that would be really cool.
Right?
Yeah. What else you got?
Let's see what else we got. So the big new product at Ancestry is Ancestry Preserve. I don't know how much you know about that. Or
I
have
know a
looked
lot
into
about
that. Okay, well, that is the thing that I'm probably most excited about because we're living in this era where like the baby boomers are starting to downsize their homes or go into retirement communities, and the stuff that they inherited from their parents has been sitting in boxes or sitting in closets, and now they're starting to pass it on to their Gen X kids. And we don't want it. We don't have room for it. We don't know what to do with it. And so Ancestry Preserve is such a beautiful solution for getting that stuff just digitized, automatically uploaded to a gallery and a tree on Ancestry. And then you can just go through and tag it when you want to tag it without worrying about the possible loss of those treasures that have survived for 2 generations before they got to you.
All right, let me hold you there for a second.
Yeah.
Because the people at home that are watching right now, they're going, what the hell is she talking about? So Preserve
Yes.
is photographs,
Yes.
audio files, video files, those old film reels, slides.
Documents, like if you've got file folders of documents that somebody collected. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know it did documents
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, and the box is huge, and
I
it's just
saw it.
whatever you can fit in the box. So you purchase a box, it costs like $20. Basically, that just pays for shipping. You fill the box, you send it off, and then we will send you a quote after we inventory what you shoved in there and let you know how much it's going to cost to digitize that. You decide if you want to pay it or not. You pay it. We ship the box back to you after we've digitized everything, but we also then upload everything
That's what I
natively
was
to
going to
your
ask.
tree on Ancestry. And then it sits there in that gallery, and you then can go through and tag it to people in your tree that those photos or videos or audio files pertain to.
Nice. Let me ask you this. Do you know, you may not know this, but if you send photographs and it's three people in a photograph, and on the back of the photograph it says
Mm,
Mabel and Joey and, whatever, their names are handwritten on the back, do they preserve the back of the photograph as
that
well?
is a really good question, and I don't know the answer. I
So,
just sent in my first box, so I
oh,
haven't gotten my results back yet.
yeah, so I'm going to do this so people will know that I'm working on a video for
Okay.
this as well.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, you should come over to the booth. I'm sure they'll be able to answer that question for you.
yeah, I talked to Eric about it this
Okay.
morning.
Okay.
Anything else you want to add?
Wow, what else is there? There's a lot of things in the works that I can kind of tease a little bit. We haven't landed yet, but one of the things that we're really focused on is simplifying the experience. We've got like kind of the way that Ancestry has evolved over time is we have product managers who are all responsible for different parts of the site, and they all get the feedback from customers and then go out and do customer, user feedback testing, and then get more feedback, and then they're like, oh, we're going to do this thing to solve this problem, and they tack it on to the existing system. And when you get enough years of things getting tacked on, you end up with some redundancy in some places, you end up with some cluttered pages. So we're really going through an exercise right now of trying to clean up some of the redundancy, also trying to streamline some of the workflows.
Okay.
And so there are some major changes coming soon. One of them is the the hints review process. Right now, you review hints. You can get to that from 3 different places on the site. It's a little bit different depending on where you came into the hint
Mm-hmm.
flow from. We're going to be updating that very soon. The second thing is that person profile page in your tree. Again, we added the gallery, we added life story, we added the hints here. There's things that have again just been kind of tacked on over the years as people have made requests of things they want from us, and it's made the process of what do I do on this page a little confusing for people. So it's going through a complete redesign. Now, I don't know if people care to hear about how we do that, but I am always fascinated by the process and the care that is taken, because a product manager will see a problem like that or a need or something that needs to be fixed. They'll then go through rounds and rounds and rounds of user feedback testing to find out exactly how people are currently using the site, what they want the site to do. And then a designer will design something beautiful and how they think it should work on paper. And then we take those designs to users and get rounds and rounds of feedback. And then we give it to a developer to actually program. And even then, we're not done, because then we release it to a few people and see how it works. And we always release it to employees first. So we get to kind of pressure test that. But we'll release it to people for 2 weeks or 2 months and see how they're using it, what feedback they're giving us, go through another round of kind of design and development before eventually it gets rolled out to everyone. So we recognize that person profile page in people's trees is sacred space. That is where you have collected and gathered the information to tell the stories about your ancestors, and we do not take redesigning it lightly. So, people will start to see some changes being made, but there will be a big change coming, and I don't want anybody to be surprised about that.
Okay. Anything going on in DNA?
In DNA, we just released this week, I think something like 90 new US journeys. So,
Oh,
yes,
fabulous.
in honor of America 250.
There you go.
Yeah, and that's kind of how that DNA team works, is they'll focus on a region of the world and look at the data from that region. And so we had, about a year ago, we released a bunch of African journeys. Last year it was Europe. And so this month it was some US journeys. So for those of us who have deep colonial roots, right? Our DNA tells us we're from Germany and we're from Britain and we're from France. And we're like, but my family's been in the US for 500 years, And so this allows us to actually see some of those migration patterns within the United States, which is fun.
Well, thanks for being here
Thank
today.
you.
I'm
Absolutely.
super excited. This
Yeah.
is This is going to be fun. I can't wait to dig into some of the new tools.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun.